This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Tuesday, September 26th, 2023, and we're so glad you can join us for today's episode. In today's episode, I'm going to be speaking with Clark Smith of Corteva. We'll be talking about a new product from the Corteva line. Also, we'll have a check of the ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down the closing markets, and we'll do that with the team at agmarket.net.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, joined now by Jacob Burks of agmarket.net for our closing analysis. Jacob, what took place with the grains today?
I would say that we, first of all, had a quiet range here today. Corn market stayed pretty stagnant most of the day. We probably traded in a 7-cent range here. Beans were a little over a dime range. The wheat market, same type of story. Back and forth on both sides. All in all, the bean market found some support here midday. I think led mostly by the products. You started to see the crush kind of came back. We saw the bean oil over the last couple of days make lows down into several month lows. And ended up having a strong recovery here throughout the day. We ended up closing only 3 cents lower in the bean oil, but bean meal picked up in the slack a little bit here and was $3.30 higher. So drug beans along with it, we ended up closing 6 cents higher than the November soybeans, back above $13. Again, December corn hung around the 480 level, and that's found a strong comfort zone right there at the 480.
And Jacob, we did have just a very big sale recently, didn't we, to Mexico? What was the case with that sale?
Well, I don't know if it was just some pent-up demand that we've just been kicking the can down the road and finally announced at 1.6. That's the largest export sale that we've seen. Those type of numbers, those type of sales is what we need to keep coming in. A lot of we're not going to see that, fly off the shelf. We're not going to see corn fly off the shelf right now whenever you're seeing barge freight down the Mississippi River get up to 1,100. So we've got a major problem there during the middle of harvest, just like we did last year. The one thing that's different this year is we don't have a lot of export sales already pre-planned. So therefore, you're not seeing that big of a news story right now that, hey, barge freight's, we're only at 1,100. We didn't get to the 2,500 that we saw last year. But that type of export sales is what we're going to need to continue to see. We need those type of moves to pick back up. But it's going to be very difficult with the type of production that we saw in South America last year. And at this point right now, the anticipation of seeing another big crop next year.
Jacob, right now, what is the story with the ethanol industry and what we're seeing as far as biofuels are concerned?
Well, that's where the bid is right now. I mean, we're seeing that the grind has been in the positive all year long. Ethanol plants have been able to make a significant amount of money. It's not hurting them that the crude oil is the one commodity that's not falling apart here today. We've seen the crude oil is trading back over $90 here as we go into Tuesday here. So, the ethanol plants have the ability, they're willing to continue to pay up for this corn market as we're going into harvest. That's probably what's kept the bids, the basis not falling apart. If you take ethanol, and if they were in a point where we're seeing $60 crude oil, and ethanol was trading down another $20 lower, I don't know. I don't know how bad this basis could be right now without having the river market. So the ethanol is what's kind of kept us afloat here in the Midwest as a corn producer.
Let's switch over to the other side of the ag marketplace and what happened with the livestock markets today, Jacob.
Well, I think we could talk about anything else and make me happy. That's something that's really took it on the chin. We've said for a long time, as long as demand stays strong, this cattle market still has a good story. It's not like you can make a cow tomorrow. And we've seen the inventory. We know the story about what's going on the supply side. We started to see a little bit of wavering in the stock market today. I think we're down 400 points. The dollar index is getting comfortable over 105. So that makes it harder for us to see outside areas, global, our meat competitive on the global scale. We also saw a cold storage report that came in here. We did have inventories significantly less than what, from all meat, all beef inventories were down like 18%. But, that's a lot of those inventories in beef were based off of record highs last year. So you got to be careful. We still have a ample amount of beef, but all in all, what moved this market today? We end up being down $5.80 in the November contract, down to $2.56 in feeder cattle, and in the fat cattle we were down $2.85 in Feb. So those early spring months and the fat cattle and those late fall feeder cattle prices really took it on the chin today, and that was just a show of the farm community is a little bit leery of what's going to take place. And when the momentum started to roll, there was a mass dumping here from the fund community in the live cattle trade today.
And Jacob, what happened with the hogs today?
Yeah, hogs stayed pretty steady. I think they're probably looking more so. The cold storage report did not show a lot of negativity as far as increased inventories, and you did see some of the products that are not staying consistent. You've seen some of the products that were short. I believe it was in the bellies. We saw shortness there. But you're looking at the hogs and pigs report that's coming up Thursday for them to get really their information. But we're down 20 cents in the December contract. 72.35 is where we settled there.
Jacob, you offer a lot of great tools at agmarket.net for producers to use. What's the best way for them to get a hold of those tools and use them in their marketing plan?
Well, first of all, go to the website, agmarket.net, get our intel. It's a 30-day free trial of all of our information. That's where we'd encourage you to start. But yeah, there's some risk management strategies in the cattle market. Just give me a call here. We can chat that over. Number is 608-384-5438.
Jacob Burks of agmarket.net, our guest today. Jacob, thank you for all the information as always. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me.
Thank you to Jacob Burks of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis. Now, of course, the next thing we'll be waiting for is that report coming out on Friday from the USDA. Let's turn our attention now to the closing numbers, and those are courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart.
December corn down 1.5 at 479 3/4. November soybeans up 5 even at 1302 3/4. October soybean meal up 2 even at 394 even. October soybean oil up 11 cents at 58.86. Chicago wheat up 3/4 cent at 616 1/4. Minneapolis wheat down 2.5 at 766 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat down 4 even at 710 1/2. March oats up 1/4 cent at 450 even. On the Merck, October live cattle down $2.17 at 184.80. October feeder cattle down $4.95 at 253.87. October lean hogs up 10 cents at 81.62. October pork cutout down 60 cents at 92.15. And Class 3 milk down 4 cents at 18.38.
That wraps our closing market coverage here today on Ag Matters PM. It's time now to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, we will be learning about a new product launched from Corteva. Clark Smith will join us to tell us about it next here on Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Today, I'm joined by Clark Smith of Corteva as we learn about one of the new products in the Corteva line here on Ag Matters PM. Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I am at Farm Progress 2023. I'm with Clark Smith today at the Corteva tent. And Clark, could you tell us, please, your job title with Corteva?
Yeah, so I'm our U.S. Crop Protection Product Manager for row crop fungicides and nitrogen stabilizers.
And Clark, we were here early this morning for some new product launches, including one that you talked about, and that is Viatude. Could you tell us about Viatude and why it's something that has you excited?
Yeah, so really excited today to launch Viatude, Corteva's newest row crop fungicide. Viatude is for our northern soybean growing states, for those growers who experience the disease robbing, yield robbing of white mold. We know white mold, when getting into a field, every 10% incidence could rob yield anywhere from 2 to 5 bushels, which is why we're excited to launch Viatude to control white mold in those northern states.
And when you talk about white mold, how does it compare to some of those other yield robbers and those numbers? Is it kind of in the similar vein? Is it worse? Is it a little bit less? Where does it stand?
Yeah, so white mold is just like any other disease that can rob yield, where it's really prevalent in our northern U.S. growing states that in the past couple of years, farmers have started to spend over $100 million in several million acres. So as we think of white mold, can be geographic specific, but where it is just could be devastating, which is why we're excited to really focus Viatude for best-in-class white mold protection with picoxystrobin plus prothioconazole, having those two modes of action to combat white mold.
So when we're talking northern states, do you have a specific geographic region that we're specifically looking at, or are you just saying in general the northern part of the Midwest?
Yeah, so northern part of the Midwest, really Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, down to Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, over Michigan, Ohio, into Pennsylvania. So it's really our eastern and western corn belts in the Midwest where we're going to be focused. And we will have some fits out in the P&W. Viatude not only labeled in soybeans, but also canola.
And Clark, multiple modes of action with this product. Remind us, please, why that is so important.
Yeah, so two modes of action provides the control of picoxystrobin and the benefits of rapid absorption, as well as the benefits of prothioconazole, and making sure as we combat white mold, attacking it two different ways with two effective modes of action.
And when you think about that as well, Clark, I know you're attacking it right now with those multiple modes of action, but that also helps to extend it down the line, doesn't it? Because then the white mold isn't building up that resistance as easily.
Yeah, so not only using those two modes of action to combat resistance, but once white mold is in a field, it's really hard to counter, which is why we see, as an incidence of white mold spread, farmers continuing to spend money and treat millions of acres with fungicides, and why we're really excited to launch Viatude in that space is best in class against white mold, and really help farmers, once they see it, treat it, but also protect it in the future. As we know, once white mold is prevalent in a field, in one growing season, it can advance from 5 to 10% to 50%, which is why it's going to be really important to not only treat with those two modes of action, but keep treating to prevent it.
So, Clark, as we wrap things up here today, is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers, our listeners know about when it comes to this new product, Viatude, and what it's capable of?
Yeah, so just really excited to launch Viatude and remind folks that Viatude is going to be part of that portfolio that we have with Approach and Approach Prima, and that Corteva has a strong fungicide portfolio, and we're excited to announce this newest innovation and continue to launch our pipeline to the market. And Viatude is another example of the great pipeline that Corteva has, as evidenced by being on millions of acres when soybeans.
And when it comes to Viatude, already has passed that registration process, so therefore will be available next season.
Yeah, correct. So Viatude is already EPA registered, as well as we've received registration in most of our northern soybean growing states. We expect a couple holdouts. We'll have those here soon. And Viatude will not only be registered, but available for the 2024 growing season.
He's Clark Smith here at Corteva Farm Progress 2023. Clark, thank you so much for the time, and have a great rest of the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming out this morning.
Thank you to Clark Smith of Corteva for that interview at the Farm Progress Show. It's time now for a check of the ag weather outlook. As I woke up this morning in Waukee, felt a little bit like London. It was very foggy, some pea soup fog this morning, but that has cleared off today, and it has made for a beautiful day in central Iowa. Are some chances for some rain, some showers, and some slight chances for thunderstorms around the state. So make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate for those rain chances if they're in your area. Tonight, a fairly quiet evening as far as the forecast is concerned. And then tomorrow, looks like we have another nice day on hand. And that's before we start a little bit of a warm-up to close out this week. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, widespread, partly to mostly sunny skies with isolated shower and thunderstorm chances in northwest and northeast Iowa today. High temperature range expected 71 to 77. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, chances for showers and thunderstorms in eastern Iowa, lows expected 52 to 60. And for tomorrow, partly sunny with chances for rain showers in eastern Iowa and the temperature range 71 to 77. And now for our affiliate weather map for tomorrow. Cherokee, partly sunny with a high around 71. Shenandoah, sunny, high of 77. Partly sunny in Des Moines with a high around 74.
Albia, decreasing clouds, high of 75. Waterloo, a slight chance for showers and 72. Clinton, showers likely with a high of 72.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That brings us to the end of the Ag Weather Outlook. That also wraps up today's episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also find all of our video content on our YouTube channel. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe. Click on the notification icon as well to let you know whenever we have any new video content available. Also, we have our free twice daily market podcast, which you can listen to every day at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. I'd like to thank Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman. You've been watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network.